Hey everybody, it's Natasha from Big Rock Organics and welcome to week 10 of the CSA. I would like to just say, look at my beautiful new flowers that are drying behind here. I do love this little living backdrop. We've been doing a lot of flower picking and bouquets and trying to take advantage of some of the beautiful colors and get some of them dried for winter wreath making and things like that. So anyways, moving on, we've got a lot of new things in the box this week. So come along with me as we journey through this wonderful explosion of color. So this week, I feel like the boxes have a lot of purple and a lot of green, which is really a beautiful color combination. So one of the things that we have that we're very excited about is some head lettuce this week. And so you're each getting a little mini head of lettuce. Now you might have some different lettuces here. We've got, I think, 4 or so different varieties out there. And so we're just cutting a variety. So you'll get a head. It might look a little different than the one in the video here. We've got this guy here. We've also got this guy here. So different kinds of heads. And these are a variety that Johnny's does, many different styles of head lettuce. And we just got into doing head lettuce, I don't know, a number of years ago. We used to only do loose leaf, and I do really like the head lettuce. It's a lot of fun. So enjoy that. We've tried to keep it in the shade and help it to grow. We're planting some more lettuces this week. So hopefully as the season progresses, get those greens back in town again, because boy, oh boy, I have been missing them. Speaking of greens, we do have some of that purple kale here, and that has been just so bountiful. We cut it a few weeks ago, and believe it or not, it grew back, and it is just gorgeous. So I love that, you know, reversible color. We got that beautiful purple on one side and the green on the other side. And this kale, I really do like for salads and things like that. So wash it up, put it in the salad spinner, keep it in the fridge. It's a lot more tender. You can also cook it, you can juice it, but it is just a really nice, I would say a tender, less strong kind of kale. So purple kale this week, that is back in town. The lettuces and things aren't a huge fan of heat, and so that's why in the summer you don't see as many spinach, lettuce, you know, some of those more tender things that prefer the cold weather, whereas things like kale and chard, they just soldier on through. They don't mind whatever the weather is. They will survive. All right, we got some cool peppers this week. So these lovely crinkly dudes are called Shishito peppers, and they have kind of come into the market recently. You can even sometimes see them in the store. They're really fun. They are crinkly. They're not hot. They are mild. Even though they kind of look like they might be wicked, they are not hot. And these you can take and grill whole. A lot of people are just grilling them and then like salting them a little bit and eating them just like that. You can cut them up and put them in things. You could make pickles out of them, you know, all kinds of things. So those are some of the new peppers that we are having. Finally, the pepper plants have started yielding, and they're really beautiful. So we've got some bell peppers for y'all this week as well. So some green bells. Now, I don't know if you know that to get colors, they have to stay on the vine much longer, which means honestly, if we want some red bell peppers, we probably should have left these on the vine and let them grow a little bit more. But I am very anxious to get some new things in our boxes, and so we are going to go ahead and be picking some of these. So bell peppers, these green ones this week, are really great in just about everything, and we're doing, you know, adding these to any sort of dish that we possibly can. I made a great salad this week with just all the vegetables and made a very simple vinaigrette that was my favorite. Sesame oil and rice wine vinegar and some seasonings and things like that, and that was just delicious cold salad marinated kind of thing. But yeah, you could do fajitas this week with these. You could do stuffed peppers when we really get into the season. Stuffed peppers are so great. But for these to ripen, we're gonna have to wait a while longer. So we do have some different colors of peppers, but we're gonna have to wait for those to ripen up. So we're gonna have green ones in the meantime. So yay for the bell peppers, very excited about those. We have another cabbage this week. Oof. Oh. These cabbages are just huge, oh my goodness. So we have red cabbage this week, and red cabbage, believe it or not, I think if you ever suffer from like heartburn or indigestion, if you eat a little bit of red cabbage, raw red cabbage, that can really help with that. But one of my favorite things to do with red cabbage is like a spiced, like a German red cabbage, and so we'll put a recipe in there for that, and that is my favorite thing to do. But this is just so beautiful. You know, I don't know, they call vegetables red, but that is definitely a little bit more purple to me, and anything that you add it to will get a little hint of that color as well. So it's just so beautiful. And again, if you get a head that is a little bit cracked, it's just because these guys do that when they get ready to be picked. They sometimes will just go ping and crack, and they're perfectly good. They just might have cracked during picking. So big beautiful heads this week of cabbage. We will be hopefully seeing a return of the cabbage coming later in the fall, but we do have one more variety still, but trying to stagger that cabbage a little bit so we don't get too overwhelmed. But remember, they are great in the fridge, happy as can be for a month or 2 months even. You can put that cabbage in the back and forget about it, and it'll be safe and sound. Just make sure that anything you're storing, you put it in a plastic bag and put a paper towel in there, and that helps it to stay, you know, just the perfect amount of moisture. All right, for herbs, we've got some flavorful things. So we've got thyme. This might be the only thing I have an abundance of thyme in my life is the plant, not the actual measurable moments, but I like to do all kinds of thyme puns. So I hope that you can enjoy that this week as you are using your thyme, that you can get plenty of little fun thyme puns in. But it smells so delicious. A couple of my favorite things to use thyme in, I do really love, there was a recipe, and I'll see if I can dig it up, from my childhood, I think, where we made like a I feel like it was almost like a jerk chicken or something that had some thyme in it. But I will try to look that up, because that is some distant digging I'm thinking of in my head. But oh, that fresh thyme smells so good. So any sort of savory dish that you're making, it's wonderful with. It is also amazing paired with, very excited to have our first potatoes of the season. So we went and dug some of these up before the storms and got an entire huge crate full of potatoes this week. And so these are delicious. So thyme goes super well with potatoes. That's one of the reasons I wanted to put them together this week. So you could create some oven roasted potatoes with some thyme, or you could do a potato soup. This kind of gloomy weather has me doing all the feels for soup and fall and all that kind of stuff. So potatoes. So these are freshly picked, and so you'll notice that they have a little bit of like a thin skin to them. So these guys aren't going to store forever. We have to let them thicken up their skins in order for them to do that. But trust me, you're gonna eat these and you're not gonna want to store them. You're going to eat them all. These Yukon Golds are the earliest variety, and they are delicious for mashed potatoes, for roasted potatoes in the oven. They're very creamy, buttery, and kind of densely textured. They are delicious. So what you want to do, we have washed these, Caitlin painstakingly hand scrubbed these so that we didn't get too much of the skin scrubbed off, but you'll want to take and just wash them right before using, and then you can go ahead and proceed. Now, my favorite trick for potatoes, and not a lot of people realize this, they have a lot of extra starch in them, that you actually want to rinse your potatoes after cutting. And it seems so contrary, especially if you're going to be frying or roasting or something like that. But even if I have grated my potatoes, I still will let them soak and then pour that water off and give them a few rinses. And you'll actually notice that starchy content leaving the water, and eventually the water will be clear. And that's so important to getting a really good taste for your potato, good texture for your potatoes. So last night we came home from the field. It was pretty late, and I was like, you know what, no matter how late it is, I want to make some homemade potatoes that are literally only an hour out of the field. And so I cut them, I soaked them, I patted them dry after draining them, and then olive oil and some seasonings. I think I put some garlic powder and some Slap Your Mama seasoning, which is one of our favorites. And I just roasted those about 350, 400 or so not too hot. You want to make sure that they're moderate temperature, because if they're too hot, they're going to burn on the outside and not cook on the inside. If you like them extra crispy, turn it up at the end, but let them cook at a more moderate setting until they're cooked. And oh, they were so delicious. I don't think we had any left. They were awesome. So, all right, I've talked a lot about potatoes, but I'm very passionate about potatoes. We have different varieties of potatoes that will be coming in as the season progresses, and you'll get to see some different colors and compare them. We're kind of into our potatoes. So, all right, enough about potatoes there. So we do have a few lemon cucumbers, again, making their debut. If you don't get one of these round, weird little objects, don't worry, we just have a handful, so we're trying to make sure that people get at least a couple throughout the season. And they're just like a lemon in shape and color, but they taste like a cucumber. So, just a fun novelty. They're kind of fun to eat, just like as is. You can crunch and eat the whole thing. So, if you really want to like do a fun snack for school or something like that, freak out everybody around you, you can eat the whole entire thing like an apple. Kind of fun. Lots of other cucumbers, of course. They have not ceased. They're slowing down a little bit, but they're doing great. So make sure you're using all those cucumbers. Lots of great stuff. Sometimes if I want a really refreshing drink, I just take cucumber, slice it, and add it to my water. And that even is a great way to just use up like the ends of your cucumbers, the stuff that you don't really want to eat necessarily, but they still add a great flavor. So cucumbers up the wazoo. All right, we've got, of course, all that great summer squash, and that is tasty as ever. Again, that's slowing down. We will have patty pan squash, which are the cute little like scalloped UFO squashes that are fun. We have those plants progressing as well, but lots of squash, and we've given you lots of different ideas. So I will include a recipe for some zucchini relish. That is really good. It's like a sweet and spice, savory kind of zucchini relish that's delicious, on top of, bratwurst and things like that. All right, another thing in the box this week that is new is fennel. And the fennel, I must say, is looking delicious. Now, it is wonderful. It's got that licoricey flavor, so sometimes something I like to do is just take a little bit of this and just chew on it, suck on it a little bit. It's really tasty. I'm not even a licorice fan, but sometimes in the garden it's really refreshing, so I'll just chew on the stems a little bit. The leaves you can take and cut up and add into salads, and we'll definitely be giving you some ideas, because most people will say, unless you're Italian, because a lot of Italians do use fennel, but a lot of people haven't really used fennel, and so we'll give you some ideas on what to do with it. But it's the root, not the root, the bulb part that you want. This grows above ground, just like a kohlrabi, and this is the part that you want to use. So you want to slice it really thin, and my favorite thing to do is do a salad with like a citrus and fennel and maybe like a lime vinaigrette, but there's all kinds of things you can do. So we'll be putting some recipes for the fennel in there for you, but it is edible, everything from its crazy ferny leaves to its stems, and then of course that beautiful root. We've got some carrots this week. The carrots, we are finishing up our plot, so you might get some of the rainbow carrots, or you might get some of the new carrots, and so we are finishing those guys and getting our new carrots underway. So such beautiful carrots. I can't believe we've had such a great season of carrots, and you could do a roast with the carrots and the potatoes and some cabbage. Really do a great crock pot meal for the week with that one. So all right, well, I think that's everything in the box this week. So enjoy cooking and definitely send some ideas and recipes our way. We're always looking to share that with everybody. So have a terrific week. Looking forward to hopefully those tomatoes. I see a few ripening out there. Oh my goodness, I am just waiting for those beauties to come. And when they do, there's gonna be a lot of them, because they are hanging out there really big, beautiful, and green on the vine. So tomatoes to come hopefully very soon, and our new crop of beans should be right around the corner as well. So lots of great food. Thanks always for joining us, and cheers to another week of delicious eating. Bye.